Good morning, Block 3. Another day, another video for Mr. Pottinger to you. You are taking notes on this video, so you should have notes ready to go, either ready to go on your iPad or on a sheet of paper. Pause me at any point so that you can keep up with the notes. All I'm doing is going through the Chapter 2 review, which is telling you what you need to be prepared for to complete the test on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So again, Monday and Tuesday is when you'll be taking the test. No need to worry about cheat sheet. We're only going to do the main ideas and the notes examples. So here goes. Title, Chapter 2 Review. I can intelligently prepare for my Chapter 2 test. Remember what intelligently means. We're only going to focus on the parts that we struggled with throughout the chapter. I shouldn't say only focus on those parts. We're going to focus more on those parts that we struggled with more throughout Chapter 2. Things you need to do to prepare for the test. Number one, know your notes. Read your notes, watch the videos. If you know your notes and what are in those notes, you'll have a great chance of doing well on the test. Two, use the review to practice. Math is not about necessarily just reading and watching videos. It is about practicing. So if you do not do practice problems like we do for our assignments, you want to do as well as you could. Three, look at old assignments and do the problems again. Again, I would pick and choose problems, pick and choose assignments. You don't necessarily have to look at every single assignment. You don't necessarily have to look at every single problem, but pick the assignments that you struggle with and do a few problems again. You should have all the answers to those problems because we change our answers when we correct them together. And number four, spend more time on your harder lessons. So spend more time on the ones you struggle with, like I've already said. What is going to be on the test? First thing to focus on is prime factorization. Again, you should be writing these notes down. Prime factorization included a lot of vocabulary, so you need to know those vocab words. I won't be quizzing you specifically in the words, but I'll be using the words as part of the directions and what you need to do. If you don't understand the words, you won't understand the directions. So know the vocab. Know how we find factors. We use factor pairs, and we use that U shape. The U shape puts them in numerical order. Remember, factors are the same as a given number or less. Factors are the same as a given number or less. And remember what we said about factor pairs. Finding factor pairs, 1 and 4, 2 and 2 will be your example. Number 7, factor trees. Make sure when you are using factor trees to find prime factorization, you are putting the answers in exponential form. Answers again in exponential form if you need to. 2, GCF, again using factor pairs to find the GCF, just like the example I just did in blue above there. And I just said this as well, factors are smaller or equal to the given number. So when you're finding factors, you are finding a very limited amount of numbers. They are either the same size as the given number or less, they say. Third thing you're focusing on are equivalent fractions. You can find equivalent fractions in 2 ways. Way 1 is to divide, which is reducing, which is the one you're used to, when you do 99% of the time. We could even use our bubbles. How do you reduce 2/4? You divide the numerator by 2, you divide the denominator by 2, because 2 is a common factor, 2 and 4, and 1/2 is our final answer. You can multiply as well. You don't do that very often, but it is another way to find equivalent fractions. So in 2/4 case, you could multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2 to get an equivalent fraction of 4/8. Regardless, you must be sure that you are either dividing by the same number or you are multiplying by the same number. If you don't divide and multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, you will not find an equivalent fraction. Number 5, LCM. LCM, we find LCMs by listing the first 5 multiples of each number, and then we keep going if there's no match. So if I'm trying to find the LCM of 2 and 3, I'm going to list the first 5 multiples of each. Since 2 times 1 is 2, 2 is my first multiple. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10. The first 5 multiples of 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 9, 12, 15. The LCM is going to be the first first common multiple that both numbers have. In this case, it's going to be 6. Again, the first multiple of any number is that number. Multiples are the same as the given or bigger. So they're basically the opposite of factors. Factors are the same or smaller, multiples same or bigger. Ordering fractions, this is the bubble method. You will be expected to show your work using the bubble method on the test. The bubble method helps us get common multiples. We have a number like 2/3 and 3/4. We need to decide which one is the bigger number. Since you cannot compare fractions with unlike denominators, we need to find a common denominator for 3 and 4 or a common multiple for 3 and 4. 12 is a common multiple for 3 and 4. You could either list them out or you could just multiply them together. Doesn't matter either way. So you could list out all the multiples for 3, all the multiples for 4 until you find a common multiple, or you could just multiply 3 and 4 to get a common multiple. It doesn't have to be the LCM, but it's easier if it is. Once you find the common multiple, you list the common multiple below, as we did in our notes and in our practice, and then we use our bubble method to find an equivalent fraction for 2/3 and an equivalent fraction for 3/4. To go from the number 3 to the number 12, we multiplied by 4, and if we multiplied the denominator by 4, we multiplied the numerator by 4. Same thing over on the opposite side. To go from 3/4 to something over 12, because this is what we know, we multiply the denominator by 3, and we multiply the numerator by 3, and that's how we came up with our number 9. 8/12 and 9/12, and when you compare them, they are now comparable because they have common denominators. You would say that 8/12 is less than 9/12, therefore 2/3 is less than 3/4. Mixed numbers and improper fractions is what we just finished up on Thursday. To find a mixed number and to go from a mixed number to an improper, you go around the world. It's on the cheat poll if you need help with that. And to go from an improper to a mixed number, you divide. So again, mixed number to improper around the world. This is on the cheat poll. Big number, our whole number, times the denominator, plus the numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Denominators are always the same. If you have an improper fraction like 11/3, great idea that we heard from Madeline was to just flip this over on its side. 11 goes inside the box, 3 goes outside the box. If you flip the 11, it goes down there. If you flip the box, it would actually become a vertical line. You just have to make the top part, and the 3 stays on the outside. Any hoodles, 3 goes in 11 3 times. Subtract what 3 times 3 is, 2 left over, 3 and 2/3 is your mix. We've already talked about, again, the ways I think you should study for a test. It'll be a great idea if you made a cheat sheet. I'm not going to guarantee you can use it on the test, but if you make a cheat sheet, we talked about this as well, you will remember much better than if you just read your own notes or watch your own notes videos. Good luck on the test. We'll do part A on Monday, part B on Tuesday. I will be back for the test. Make sure you have these notes all done. You can reuse the rest of the period to review for the test, work on weekly math number 8, work on your in-class IXLs. If everything else is done, your in-class IXLs are all to 100, then you can work on homework IXLs. Quick thing I need to show you. This is not part of your notes, but I do want to show you this really quickly. On your weekly math for this week, week 8, you are going to see numbers like so, 114 and 3/5. This underscore, this little line right here is an underscore. It says the underscore marker represents a space between the 114 and the 3/5. This is the only way I can write it on Schoology or on the computer. So 114 underscore 3/5 is 114 and 3/5 as a mixed number. Okay, so just as an FYI, when you are converting those mixed numbers to impropers, that's what it means. Number 2 is pretty self-explanatory. You're converting the impropers to mixed numbers. Other than that, you should be good. Work hard during your block today. We'll see you on Monday, and we'll get part A of the test done on Monday, part B on Tuesday. Have a great day and a great weekend, everyone.